Guys, Essence Cosmetics just came out with a foundation stick that is $7, that has 43 shades, that is made in Italy, and I've got all 43 shades here. So of course I'm gonna test it out for you. I'm gonna show you a wear test. I'm gonna do some swatches, and I'm gonna give you a verdict at the end of the day to see if this is worth our $7. Honestly, I am here for it because I personally am a fan of Essence Cosmetics. They have produced some incredible products in the past. So this is a launch that I am excited for, that I am pleased to see, and I'm expecting really good things. This is supposed to be oily skin friendly. It's supposed to be a natural matte sort of finish. I'm wearing it on my face right now, but I had just freshly applied it on. So don't judge this, judge the end of the video. All right, with that said, you know the drill. Subscribe if you aren't. Notification bell for those videos, and let's hit it. Essence Cosmetics $7 foundation stick review, wear test, and verdict. Let's go. And what can you get nowadays for under $7? Swatch model, what can you get? I'd like to know, because I don't even think a venti Starbucks coffee, we're not talking about makeup. I'm talking about regular life. Like I said, I don't even think a venti Starbucks coffee is under $7. I think it's more like over $7, but I don't know.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay, but anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the foundation stick. Let me give you guys all the scoop, all the deets. And the reason why I'm so excited about this one is because who has been subscribed to my channel since I've been ranting and raving about the Essence My Skin Perfector Tinted Primer that has since been discontinued? Are you the one? Let me know, because this is one of my favorite freaking products out there. It is so good. It blurred my pores, my imperfections. On good skin days, I would even use this as my solid foundation skin base, you know? It was so good, and I'm so sad that Essence discontinued it, but this was my beloved product. I'm hoping that perhaps maybe it'll resurrect, maybe they'll bring it back one day. This was a fave, and so since then, I have sort of become a fan of Essence Cosmetics. A lot of their products, including this tinted primer and this new foundation stick, are made in Italy, so that tells you that they are not afraid to spend some monies on these formulas. So generally speaking, labs that are in Italy tend to use higher end ingredients. They are a little bit more pricey. That is just the known fact in the beauty world. And so I'm bringing it up because do with it what you please. Anyways, so these 43 shades are available at Ulta. This is a sheer to medium coverage stick, natural matte finish, 43 shades, tons of undertones. I've seen some warm yellow, some neutral, some golden, some pinks, some peaches, some cools, everything in between. I'm yet to see an olive, but perhaps in the deeper shade, there will be some olives. Also, you might be wondering, why in the hell did Essence Cosmetics send me all 43 full-size products? Why did they do that? Because they also did something very clever, and I really, really appreciate it. They also set this prepaid label for me to donate all of my unused shades. They are actually partnering with a nonprofit organization, I Support the Girls, and it's an organization dedicated to helping people experiencing homelessness in the US and beyond. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna swatch the medium shade range, shade 100 to shade 200. I believe I fall somewhere in there, and I am going to not touch the rest. I'm gonna pack them into this envelope and send them off to I Support the Girls, because I do support the girls, and I appreciate this. I think this is very nice, very thoughtful, very kind. And of course, the shades that I did swatch that won't work for me, I will give away to friends and family. So yes, indeed, we've got it covered. One more thing before I do the swatches for you. I went over the ingredients, of course. I took them into ChatGPT. Yes, I did. I needed to know if any of these are red flags. I needed to know if any of these ingredients are high on the comedogenic scale. And lucky for us, they are not, with the exception of one ingredient, ethyl hexyl palmitate, which is unfortunately high on the comedogenic scale, but it is very low on the ingredients list. And it is listed so low that it's probably under 1%, likely in the trace amounts of percentage, you know, that amount is not classified as comedogenic or as harmful. So we're going to let it slide. Other ingredients that are interesting to me is kaolin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is an oil absorbing clay. And so that actually helps to reduce pore clogging. So that's something that is exciting to me because I am a very oily skin girl, acne prone, you know, right now, actually, my skin is not doing so bad. I did peel off this little crusty thing, which is unfortunately now red, but that's okay. Now that I've said all that, I think let's get into these swatches. I'm gonna start with shade 100. I've got my computer here so I can actually read off what this shade actually is, what it corresponds with. Oh no. So here is the discrepancy. This is why this is $7. Maybe the formula is a high-end formula, but the packaging, you guys, is crap. What is this? Look at this. Oh no, so all of the product is kind of like mushed in the cap. And I noticed that a lot of these foundation sticks have this problem, so it's gonna be a long day. But anyways, swatching, shade 100, light with cool neutral undertones. That is pigment. That is pigment that I was not expecting to see. Holy moly. That is extremely, extremely creamy. That is a lot of product. Probably because it's already been smushed. Maybe that's why. But I was not expecting that much coverage. Moving on to shade 110. And once again, the shade is in the cap. Essence, I love you. But this is a little laughable. What do? Get back in there. Okay, I think I have an idea. I am going to twist this all the way up. Okay, yeah, so you're gonna have to like play around or maneuver it in a way that works. But here we go. Shade 110, light with warm neutral undertones. It's smushed in there. Shade 120, light with warm yellow undertones. I'm thinking shade 120 might be my bet, but I'm not certain. I'm gonna put it aside. Shade 130, light with cool rosy undertones. She's in the cap. Oh no. But at least you get to see how much product you're getting. Made in Italy. Where is this component made? Okay, here we go. Light with cool rosy undertones. Shade 130. My God, they're all broken. Like every single one. It's pretty crazy. And the product is so soft that it's actually really hard to push it back into the component. Oh no.
Do you help?
I don't know if you're gonna be able to figure this out for me. All right, so this is shade 140, light with neutral undertones. All right, shade 150, light with warm rosy undertones. Do you see this pigment? I mean, every single one is stuck to the cap. Shade 160, light medium with rosy peach undertones. Whoa, that was a jump, quite a jump between the 150 and the 160. I feel like there could be several shades in between those two. Namely, shade 120 could probably be in between those two. Shade 170 is a light medium with rosy undertones. Shade 180 is a medium with neutral undertones. Oh, this one actually was sort of intact. I feel like that could be potentially a good summer shade for me. I'm gonna set shade 180 to the side as well. But right now, so far, I'm not really seeing a shade match for me. I really thought that either 120 or 180 would be it. Perhaps if I mix them two, I don't know. All right, next we have shade 190, medium with rosy undertones. That actually kind of matches the redness in my face. And by redness, I mean redness and irritation. All right, and last but not least, we have shade 200. And shade 200 is a medium tan with cool rosy undertones. And to me, I feel like this would be a nice contour shade. This doesn't actually remind me of a skin tone, if I'm honest. This looks like a contour shade because it has a little bit of that cool mauve-y, almost a purpley kind of undertone that resembles a shadow. I can't say that human skin tones actually come in this sort of shade. That makes me really curious to test the next range, the 200s range, but I don't know. You know what? I think I'm just gonna test two more. Shade 201 and shade 202. I'm just curious because shade 201 is a medium tan with neutral undertones. Okay. And then shade 202, also perfect, is a medium with golden undertones. A little bit lighter. So odd. Anyway, here is the medium to slightly tan shade range. I do believe we are ready for some thumbnail faces because, well, this is quite interesting and it's got to be tested. Essence. This is pigmented. This is very, very pigmented. $7. But do we need it? How does it wear? Let's find out. All right, so now I am going to remove the swatches from my face. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do, what shade was this? This doesn't look too off either. I'm gonna grab shade 160 also. All right, so now I'm gonna remove all of these swatches from my face. All right, here we go. Fresh face, and now I wanna apply. I do actually wanna apply some primer underneath because this is a very, very pigmented, it seems extremely, extremely pigmented type of product. Although it is supposed to be a sheer to medium coverage, it just felt like it was, very saturated, you know, and so I am going to prime. I'm going to use my MaryamNYC. By the way, got myself a brand new one. Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. Shade Universal is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to mattify the center of my face. You can probably see how shiny I am right now. That's because about an hour ago, I did use this serum from this brand, this Romanian brand called Omorovița, I believe is the name. Did I say Romanian? I meant Hungarian. This is a product of Hungary. This is supposed to be their serum elixir. I'm going to use a little bit more. It does have this very spa-like scent. And because I was wearing makeup all day today, I came home, I removed my makeup with my micellar water. Obviously, I left my eyes, my eyebrows, and my lips, but I did just want to tell you what is on my face, why I'm shining, what's going on. So I just want to get rid of a little bit of that shine. I'm going to use my MaryamNYC Blurring Skin Balm Powder. Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. That's it. Forgive me, it is a little bit late at night right now, and I am just a pinch tired. So yeah, I'm gonna just mattify the center of my face. And once I mattify, it also kind of helps to minimize my texture and the appearance of pores. This product also helps to control my oils. It is actually probably the closest thing to the Essence My Skin Perfector Tinted Primer from a few years ago. They are very, very similar, but the MaryamNYC is also oil controlling because it does have that upsilite. But this video is not about that. This video is about the new Essence Foundation Stick. So let's go. So I grabbed shades 120, 160, and 180. Although I do think that shade 120 is a good match to my skin right now. It does a nice job of kind of eliminating that redness, that flush that my face unfortunately has. My skin is very, very sensitive on my face. It flushes like all the time for whatever reason. If I wash my face, my skin flushes. If I put on skincare, my face flushes. If I remove my makeup and I rub it, it flushes immediately. I feel like it's not really like a true representation. But anyways, I'm gonna use this Maryam Beauty foundation brush. And I'm gonna buff this product into the skin. Wow, this is really amazing. As pigmented as it applies as a swatch, it definitely dissipates practically into nothing once blurred and blended. That's kind of crazy. I haven't seen that before. So maybe I don't need to have my right shade match because the coverage is so sheer. Maybe I just needed to apply a lot more. I'm not sure. Perhaps this is a buildable type of product, but so far that's what it looks like. Hold on. I'm gonna grab a little tiny mirror just so that I am able to really see what's going on here. Okay, I see what's happening. I'm gonna use shade 180. This was the slightly darker one. I'm just gonna use this on the perimeter of my face. I'm gonna apply this quite crudely and I'm gonna blend it out once more. So this spot that I have here on this side is actually good because it can show you how much this product actually covers. So you can definitely see that it is skin perfecting. It is incredibly, incredibly creamy. However, the coverage is still sheer to medium buildable. But I will say the product is extremely, extremely soft. So it is very easy to break, which is probably why a lot of them came broken and stuck to the cap because it is just that soft of a product. Okay, this blends really, really easily though, which I do appreciate. And I will say it is texture perfecting. I think you would agree. All right, so now I'm gonna test that other shade. Definitely gonna keep shade 120 and 180. But I'm also kind of curious about this shade 160 with the peach undertone. Just gonna strategically apply that. I strategically placed this under my eye just to see if maybe this is suitable for the under eye, and I think it is because it is just that creamy and that soft. Also applied some right here. Oh, well, would you look at that? If you press the product in, kind of using stippling motions, it gives you a lot more coverage. And that red spot that I had here looks a lot less. So this is the face. Let's see a close-up. Okay, guys, I am inches away from my face. The lights are kind of bouncing off of my skin. So it's making it look a lot dewier than how it actually looks in person. But I will definitely show you what this looks like in daylight, because I am going to conduct a wear test in daylight tomorrow, and I am going to show you what this looks like with a full face. I am going to add shade 210. This was the slightly more golden shade. I think I want to see if I can, you know, contour with it or bronze up just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Again, remember, if you swipe, this will give you a sheer coverage. If you stipple or press it in, the coverage will be a lot fuller. And you can definitely do a combination of both. Swipe where you need less product, stipple press in where you need a little bit more coverage, or if you want to create a little bit more dimension, definition. I like it so far. It is listening to the brush very, very well. It looks really creamy on the skin. I would say the finish is probably a little bit more radiant, a little bit more glassy than a natural matte. I would say a natural matte is not how I would describe this product. In fact, like I said, in this lighting, it looks pretty dewy, but I'm not sure if it's because of the skincare I just freshly applied underneath. I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna apply my concealer because I do wanna do the wear test, and I do wanna show you what everything looks like on a normal day of wear. So I'm gonna use my Armani concealer. All right, so concealer is on. Now I'm gonna set everything using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Okay, so upon setting just the side of the face, you can see immediately the difference between how matte this is and how shiny and almost greasy this is. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Perhaps this is just a product that needs to be set, but it is just extremely, extremely, extremely emollient. Something that I wasn't expecting, because I really was expecting more of a natural matte finish. Not that I'm complaining, I am still very much into the fact that this is $7, the fact that this is made in Italy, it has decent ingredients that are non-comedogenic, that are safe for acne-prone skin like mine. I appreciate all the different undertones and shades. I think I was actually able to find my shade by mixing a couple and just strategically placing them to highlight, to contour. But I would say definitely shade 120 or shade 160 are close to my natural skin tone. And because the product is so sheer, I think it's close enough, and it definitely is able to work for me. All right, so here is the face powdered down. I'm gonna show you one more close-up. Here we go. Here we go. You can still see the dew, but it's a little bit more presentable. Look at the forehead specifically. The forehead actually looks pretty flawless. Am I right? Here's the side of the face. And the only thing left to do is to see how this wears. So we are gonna we're gonna cue in that good old time warping music for that wear test. I'm gonna show you a close-up in daylight, and I'm gonna show you how this wears. Quick, what do you think of my face?
Sure, I actually like it.
You actually like it? What do you mean actually?
Well, I wasn't expecting to like it for $6.99. I'm being honest. It's good.
Okay.
Let me see. That's not bad. I wish you would have blended into your neck a little bit more. It looks like you have a demarcation line around your...
Where?
Right here.
Oh, you wanted me to put product on my neck.
Because you look really flawless on the top, but the bottom looks a little flawed.
Oh, that's actually a really, really, really great comment, because, you know, my skin isn't flawless. My neck is probably a little bit more flawless than my skin. But the fact that you're saying that my neck isn't flawless, that tells me that the face card isn't declining.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
You better not decline. All right. Thank you. Cut. Let's go. Here we go. It is the very next day. I freshly applied the foundation stick to my face. I used shade 120 to highlight, 180 as my overall color, and I used shade 201 to contour just a bit. You could see that my forehead in this direct sunlight looks pretty flawless. The rest of my face looks pretty good. You could definitely see the pores, but I think that's because I am right in front of the window and the sun is super, super bright right now. It is 5 p.m. So let's see how this wears throughout the day. Let's see what happens. Wear test time. It is 10 p.m. I'm in the kitchen under my overhead, not so flattering light. And this is the skin, and this is the close-up 5 hours later. I gotta say, I am pretty impressed with the wear of this foundation stick, because I have not blotted. I have not touched up my makeup, not once. This is what it looks like at the end of the day, straight after a regular wear. I went to my mom's, I didn't go to the gym, I had dinner. It was a particularly humid day today, which actually makes me even more impressed. On a humid day like today, this has lasted pretty well. Let's see what happens if I actually do blot it. Hang on. Paper towel in hand. What happens if I actually blot the slightly oily sections of the center of my face, my forehead? I think it's looking even better. I am honestly, seriously impressed. This is a unique product because it goes on pretty dewy. It goes on pretty saturated and pigmented, but it does get a chance to set. I did pair it with powder, of course. I did add a little bit of blush, and it looks brilliant. I love the fact that I can still see my freckles at the end of the day. They're definitely popping through, but I don't look cakey. I don't look makeup-y whatsoever. I think the shades are actually working for me. And for $7, for $6.99 to be exact, this is really impressive. I appreciate the fact that there are 43 shades, tons of undertones, and the fact that this has worn so well on my oily AF acne-prone skin is amazing. So that is my first impression. That is my wear test. I'll definitely let you know how this wears to the gym. But for now, and considering this type of coverage, this just might be my new summer go-to. I am really obsessed. I'm impressed. This is a hit for me. So with that, I am going to zoom on out. I'm going to invite you guys to check out more of my videos over here. Peace out. I'm out. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.